In Algebra 2, we are continuing on with Chapter 9. So in Chapter 9, I have for us a couple of the main things that we will be looking over. So the first thing is page 429, 9.4, ASTC. Now, if we remember from ASTC, it was the Cartesian plane where all students take calculus, meaning that all are positive here, sine is positive here, tangent is positive here, and cosine is positive here. So in which quadrant does theta lie, given that cosine theta is greater than 0, so this means that it is positive, so it's either going to be in this one or this one. So quadrant 1 or quadrant 4. And that tan theta is less than 0. So tangent has to be negative, which means it's no longer in here, but it could be negative in quadrant 2 or quadrant 4. So we're going to do quadrant 2, quadrant 4, meaning that what they share has to be where it lies, so it would lie in quadrant 4. So don't forget this. Now I know before we've written it underneath it, but I didn't have a lot of space here, so I did not. But remember, we are looking for positive cosine because it's greater than 0 and negative tangent because it's less than 0. So we had to look at this. All students take calculus. So all are positive, sine is positive, tangent's positive, cosine's positive. That means that cosine's negative, tan is negative, cosine's negative, sine is negative, and sine is negative, tan is negative. So don't forget all of that. Now moving forward into 9.5, we have trigonometric equations. So what is the solution for 3 tan theta equals 9 for all angles 0 to 360 degrees? So what we have to do here is we have to set up 3 tan theta equals 9 to solve for theta. So I'm going to divide both sides by 3, and I'm going to have tan theta equals 9 over 3, which means that tan theta is going to equal positive 3. Now, remember for this, we have to take the inverse. So theta equals tan negative 1, 3. So I'm going to take my calculator. I'm going to turn on. I'm going to do second tangent because that's going to give me my tan negative 1, and then I'm going to put 3 there. I'm going to have 71.56. I'm going to round that up. I'm going to round that up to 71.57. So I'm going to have that theta can equal 71.57. Now, remember, this is in our first quadrant. We need tangent to be positive because the tangent down here is positive. I'm going to put parentheses around that, which means I need it in quadrant 1 and I need it in quadrant 3. So 1, 2, 3, I need it in 1 and 3 because it's tangent and it's positive. So what I'm going to do here is I have to add 180 to my theta, because if you remember in each quadrant we had, this was just theta, this was 180 minus theta, this was 180 plus theta, and this was 360 minus theta. So since I have it here and I need it here, I'm going to just add 180 to it. So I'm going to do 180 plus 71.57. If you don't believe me, there, I'm doing it. And I get 251.57. So it equals that and 251.57. So I have my 2 angle measurements here. Do not forget about your second angle measurement. Your question on your test will be multiple choice, and it may give you this one for all 4 of them, and then you have to figure out which of the second one's right. So remember this little thing over here. This is going to come in handy when you know which quadrants you're looking for. And then the last thing for today in 9.6 was just the reciprocal trigonometric functions. So I'm going to take this time to review sine, cosine, and tangent with you, which is so, ka, toa. And then we've got cho, sha, cow. So this one's not as easy to remember, but this one is. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay? Cosecant goes with sine, secant goes with cosine, cotangent goes with tangent. This one's the easiest one to remember because it's got tangent in the name. So I am going to simply flip this. So this is hypo over opposite otherwise known as 1 over sine. And this is going to be hypo over adjacent, otherwise known as 1 over cosine. And then I have adjacent over opposite, which is 1 over tangent. You need to know these in terms of opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse, as well as this right here. They will both show up on your test, so make sure you are ready for that. Okay, tomorrow we will be covering chapter 10.